who made it to the workshop today. What's up, y'all? Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the AW, your forever safe place to chill, feel, and heal. If you are new here, the AW stands for Eretic's Workshop. I'm Eretic, and the workshop is a space for you to sit in your shadows, reflect on your thoughts, and come out on top with the train in the back. What's up, y'all? What is up? We are back in this thing, episode 11. Episode 11, we are here. Okay, so welcome back on into the workshop. We're here to do some chilling, feeling, and some healing, and I'm just glad that you guys are back. Okay, yeah, nothing else to say in the intro, so we're gonna go ahead and get to spin the block. Let's go. So my week has been okay. Like we always say, duality is a thing. What comes up must go down, and what goes down must come up. Okay. So I've been up these past weeks, but recently it's just kind of been, I don't know. All right. I have this new job. And, I think I said this in some previous episodes that it's always a great job when you first start. You know what I'm saying? Like the first week or two, it's always amazing. And then you start getting into things, and you're just like, what did I get myself into? And that's kind of like how I feel now. And honestly, I'm just a typical millennial, if you want to ask me. Maybe it's not even millennial. Maybe it's Gen Z? Is it Gen Z? Yes, I think it's Gen Z that they're always making fun of on social media, saying like how they're not gonna do anything for corporate or whatever the job is asking they're gonna do. I don't know if that's the millennials too, but I'm definitely in that crew. Okay. I'm the flighty employee. I'm a good employee. But I'm gonna shock you because I'm gonna be like, here's my 2 weeks. Because I just can't do it. But this job is okay. They just been doing a little something that just has some eyebrows up for me. It really does. And it's just like, I don't think I'll be here that long. It pays the bills, and until I can find something else, I'm definitely going to find something else. So I guess I'll give y'all a little tea on what's going on. Okay, so this company I work for has been bought out by another company, so I'm a part of their like expansion. And so there's people who've been there for eons, okay? And every job you go to, there's always people who've been there forever. But there's people who've been there forever, and they were a smaller company before this newer company bought them out. So the person who owns this company is about to retire, and they sold their company to someone else. And so there's some growing pains. People don't want to do certain things, and people want to just keep doing what they've been doing, and they're not really embracing change, and it's affecting me. You know what I'm saying? So I know like one person that I work with the most with, she was just letting me know, like, you can, whenever your 40 hours is up, you can leave. Because, salary position, it don't really matter. And most salary jobs I've been at, they haven't really been particular about the time. They're just kind of like, do what you would do if you were on the clock. And you might have to do a little extra when you off the clock too, type of stuff. That's what salary really be given. And she was telling me that if you work through your lunch and you don't want to stay, if you work, because you get an hour lunch, if you work through it and you eat lunch at your desk or whatever the case is, you can leave when your 8 hours are up for that day. So I'm the type of person who has always been that way. When I was in my internship, when I was doing all types of things in corporate, anytime someone told me that I could skip lunch and leave early, I'm always going to do it, because I'm like, I'm not trying to be here. I am not trying to be here. Okay. And I just want to be able to have a more flexible schedule. I want to be able to get home early. I'm an early bird, so I'm already up by like 4 or 5 in the morning anyway. So I like to get to work early. And if I can get to work early and leave work earlier, I'm definitely going to do that. And there came a point like It was last week. I was like, I'm going to skip lunch this week, like the whole week, and just eat lunch at my desk and work through it. I quickly learned that that is something I don't want to do. Okay. Because Friday came, I had been doing it all week, and I could tell people were like watching me, and it wasn't like people, it's really one specific person, but I'm not going to, put no names, nothing out there. It's one person that has been there for a while that just feels like they can tell me what to do or try to clock me when I do something. And if you know me, don't clock me. Okay. That's the one thing you don't need to do. Okay. And they're just lucky I'm in a work setting. They really are. And yes, my triggers pop up, especially when you in my business. Like, don't be in my business. This is the episode. Don't be in my business. Okay. Like, just don't be in it. So Friday came and I had got there at 8:45 or something like that morning, and I skipped lunch. So okay, we're counting 8:45, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 8 hours. 4:45, 8 hours. I didn't take a lunch. I didn't go anywhere for lunch. I ate at my desk, whatever. I hit my 8 hours. Okay. It's different. If I would have took a lunch, then I would have to leave at 5:45. Right. We understand here. We understand. So I'm getting ready to leave and I'm like, bye everybody. And this person who's just been clocking me was like, they looked at their watch, looked at their watch and was like, what? Really? And I was like, yeah, I didn't take a lunch today, so I'm leaving at 4:45. And at this point, I'm getting heated because I'm like, why the fuck are you in my business? You know what I'm saying? Excuse my language, but I was just appalled. I was like, yeah. And mind you, my boss was out all that week. So it could have looked like I was trying to like skate and do different things that he wasn't there. But I was really trying to test the system. I'm not even going to lie because someone told me I could do that. So I'm like, well, I'm going to test it out. But I'm going to test it when my boss not here because I already know he's going to be tripping, right? So a part of me kind of knew it was coming, but I didn't think that this person was going to clock me. And so they were like, really? Like, I was like, yeah, I didn't take a lunch, whatever. And they were like, we leave at 5, but they were saying it in like a joking way. But I don't care if you laughing with it. I don't care if you buddy with me and you say we leave at 5. Why are you in my business? Okay. Because I told you what I told you. I've done my 8 hours for the day. My work is all caught up. Why can't I leave at 4:45? It's 15 minutes before 5. I don't even understand. And they were just like, oh, I'm just like, have a good weekend, whatever. I'm just like, you're not playing. Okay. This is how I feel on the inside all the time. Just like, if I could slice y'all, I would. For being in my business, like, get out of my business. Like, I might be all positive and into my emotions and stuff, but it takes nothing for me to just want to slice somebody. I'm not literally going to slice anybody, but it is true that you push the right button and you're going to see a side of me that you don't want to see. You don't want to see that side, okay? And I would like to keep my job. I really would. I don't want no animosity at my job. And I want to keep it until I can find another job. Let's correction. So yeah, that just really irritated me. And to tie into the clock watching, this week, like later this week, my boss came back and I was packing my stuff up and getting ready to leave because at this point I was like, I just have to play the field until I can get out of here because there's a lot of people in here who have a lot of say so, and it's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. Let's just say that. And they feel like they have an authority over me because I'm new and because I'm with this new expansion or something. And they just don't know who they're messing with. And they're looking for more help too. And I'm just like, well, I'm about to leave y'all real shorthanded. That's really my get back. I kill you with kindness. You think that I'm loving it. And then all of a sudden I give you a 2-week notice. And you're just like, oh my God, I thought she loved it here. And I'm like, no, because y'all are shady and y'all are like ill. Okay. So yeah, that's my formula. You can hate it. You can be mad at me. I don't care. I don't care because these jobs are not worth your sanity. They're not worth your sanity, and they're not worth you even getting all emotional and upset about what they're doing. You can just leave and go to another one. That's just my motto. Okay. Unless it's like your career, your passion. Like, this is my career, but it's not what I want my career to be. So there's a difference there, and that's not what I'm passionate about. I'm really trying to do a career switch. Just don't know how I'm going to do it, but it's not something that I've decided it's not something I want to do for a long time in my life. And if I do it, it's going to be because I've started my own business, doing it my way, not working for anyone doing it. So I was getting ready to pack up and leave at 5. And so I got up and I said bye to my boss at 5. And he decides to be like, you can't leave at 5 on the dot. And I'm like, y'all are about to make me lose it. Because number one, why are you clocking my time? Okay, why are you clocking my time? Number one. Number two, it is 5 o'clock. I got here at 8 o'clock on the dot. I don't care if you feel like I don't want to be here because I want to leave on the dot, but I'm a scheduled person. That's me. I love to schedule my day and I love to stay on my schedule. So just because you feel like I should stay a little bit longer to seem like I've been working hard all day or whatever, and I haven't been watching the clock, I'm not about to lie. I've been watching the clock because I don't want to be here. I did my work though. I did my work. So why are you worried about it? And I got here at 8 o'clock. So I'm leaving at 5. I don't care how you feel. It's like, what? That is so wild to me. And it's different if I was behind on my projects and I was just leaving. Like, I'm not behind on anything. And I got here at a specific time so I could leave at a specific time because I like to be on the schedule. Just because y'all are free flowing and y'all be here super late or come in later or whatever, that don't got nothing to do with me. I got my own thing going on, and it's not like I'm missing anything except for a couple of conversations that I don't be in anyway. So that really frustrates me that they clock watch me like that. And especially when the girl that I work the closest with told me that they don't clock watch. So it just seems like everyone's pretty deceptive in this firm that I'm in. And it feels like they're intentionally pushing my buttons, and I don't like it. And I feel like eventually they're going to try to get a rise out of me, but I won't let them get there at all. And I'm definitely going to try to find my way out of the situation. But it's just very annoying. You know, I was very excited about this job. I was really like, oh, this is going to be so nice to get back in my field. And it just has proven to me that I'm just like, nah, I don't want to do it. And I don't know if it's the people I work with or it's the field itself, because even when I was in school, I was like, I kind of don't want to be in this field. I really wanted to be in HR. That's something that I wanted to do, but I was so deep into interior design that I didn't want to switch at the last moment and have to like start on my courses again, you know? And now I'm regretting that decision. I feel like I should have just switched it at that time, but I also realized that everything happens for a reason. And that I wasn't supposed to do that at that time. I was supposed to go through the course that I'm going through now and finish how I did. Everything happens for a reason. And I might not even do HR. You know what I'm saying? So who truly knows? And I would have been wondering what if the whole time if I didn't follow through with interior design. But now I'm just kind of like, everything that I've worked in interior design, even in my internship, I was bored. I was so bored. Okay. And people think interior design is all fluff and pretty and everything. That's literally, I told you, one step of the process. The rest of it, snooze fest. And it's just like, this is not fun to me. Like, I'm not having fun. I would not do this for free. I barely want to go to work. You know what I'm saying? And most people that I work for, I see so many people in their career and they love it. Okay. They will do it for free. They will do it when they get home. They will do it on, for their own personal business. I don't feel that way. And I've always looked at people like, dang, like I want to feel that way in my career. And I don't feel that way in this career. So, and with these people I'm working with now, it's even worse. So that's my spiel, y'all. I had to get that off my chest because they've been on it. They have really been on it, and I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it at all. I don't feel like I should be treated this way. And they're going to learn a lesson because they need me more than I need them. And there is a plethora. When I say a plethora of jobs, I had someone hit me up the other day asking if I wanted to come work for them. And I was like, I really don't want to do that. I appreciate it, but I'd rather stay where I'm at than do that. It was something in retail to be like a category manager. They make good money, but I was like, I don't want to do that because I know I'm going to quit soon. So I'd rather go somewhere where I'm trying not to quit before I can get my business off the ground, you know? So there's a plethora of jobs and I know I can find something different. I don't have to deal with their BS. I really don't. Take a note from me. Always leave that job you don't want to be at. Always. Okay. There's options. And if you don't have options in your city, that means you need to move because there's options in the US in general. Okay. All right. But thank you guys for giving me this space to just spill out my emotions about this job. And just thank you for listening. You guys are amazing. And you're truly what lights me up when I get the chance to do this, because my normal life, going to this 9 to 5, 8 to 5 in my case, it ain't for me. It's just not for me. Okay. But besides that, I have been tripping about this trip, y'all. I still have not ordered nothing. Like, it has to be done. Like, it has to be done. Like, I'm going to make it my personal mission to do it soon. Okay. Because I'm tripping. I am tripping. Okay. But that is all that I have this week for Spin the Blog. We are going to go ahead and get into a word from the fam. Let's go. All right, you guys, this week's word from the fam comes from no other than me, yours truly. Okay. It's real simple. It's just a quote to get up, move your body, be consistent, and everything will fall into place. So again, get up, move your body, be consistent, because everything will then fall in place, okay? You have to have the motivation to put yourself first and move yourself around, go on a walk, do an exercise or two, stretch, whatever you want to do. We all seen Kevin Gates doing that pose, his yoga pose, his stretching pose. I'm going to let y'all know something right now. That is one of my favorite poses. Okay. I do it every day. Even if I can't do a stretch, I'm going to at least get down in that pose because it just really stretches your body out and it really opens you up. So kudos to Kevin Gates. Even though there's a time and place for everything, he put y'all on to game because you need to be doing this stretch. It is just too good to be missing out on. Okay. So when you get up and you move your body, you just have clarity in your mind and you just want to keep going. You want to do other things. So I encourage you to get up, move around, and to be consistent towards your goals, because one day you're going to look up and you're going to be like, dang, I did that. I have gotten so much further than when I started or where I was like a week ago or a month ago or whatever. I love being consistent and I'm going to continue to do that. So I hope that you guys can take a little love, light, and healing from this message. Stretch every day if you can. Go on a walk, get you some steps in, and just continue to strive towards your goals because it's hard out here. And I know it is hard to stay consistent with your goals and motivated and dedicated. But if you're not going to do it, who's going to do it? That's all you need to ask yourself every time you don't want to do something. If you're not going to do it, who's going to do it? And if someone else does it, they're going to get the reward that you wish you had. So just do it. Like Nike. Just do it. If you would like to be featured on a word from the fam, you can always hit us up on IG at the.w.podcast and on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. If you are watching this, you can always leave me a comment and let me know something inspirational, something beautiful, something to help us keep going throughout the week. What you want to say. I will put you up on here, okay? So just let me know. And without further ado, we are going to go ahead and run on over to the fellowship hall, y'all, and start fellowship hour. Let's go. So I wrote this episode pretty recently. I would say like 2 months ago or so. And I was at work. I was just at work and I was over it and I was like, I'm going to plan an episode because I'm sick of these people. Okay. So I went ahead and made me this episode. And as you can see by the title, it is called Their Business Is Not Your Business. Okay. So you guys are in for a treat because I think this is a pretty good episode. But, you know, you guys are always the judge. Okay. So I want to start off by talking about minding your business, right? I feel like we have been taught to mind everybody else's business but our own. We've always been taught to look outside of ourselves for guidance, for inspiration, for anything. We've always been taught to look outside of ourselves. So, what I mean by that is we have TV, we have music, we have movies, we have the news, we have social media, we have work, and we even have history, like our history books and stuff like that. All of it teaches us how to mind someone else's business and not our business. So, for instance, TV, movies, and like YouTube and stuff like that, we are actively looking at someone else live their life and then being like, I think I want to do that, instead of going out and figuring out in the world what it is that we want to do by just experiencing and exploring and just running into something, coincidences or fate or whatever. So it's like we are molded to want to live someone else's life just purely through entertainment. And then we have our music. We hear people rapping about drugs and all the bitches they got and stuff like that. But you also have heartbreak, country music. Everybody's just sad for no reason. And then you have R&B, just whatever genre, everyone's kind of talking about the same thing. Either they're upset about something, they don't care about nobody but themselves, or some people might be happy. There are some happy songs out there where we're just having a good time. But for most of it, we are invested into someone else's life and their story of the things that they've been through. So it teaches us to turn outward instead of inward and really mind the business that's actually going to get you paid. Okay, I can't remember where that came from. Mind the business that pays you. Either it's from a podcast I listen to all the time, or it's from like a TV show quote or something. But minding the business that pays you, I definitely hear that all the time on like Getting Grown or The Friend Zone. One of those podcasts, I always listen to them. So somebody says it. But it's truly like we have not been taught how to look inward and mind the business that's really going to get you paid. Minding everyone else's business is only going to get them paid, not you. Okay. I mean, unless you're like a reviewing you have a reviewing career where you have to look at everyone else and dissect what they're doing, or a reaction type of social media account or something like that. Other than that, you don't need to be worried about everybody else in order to get money. So then we go to history. We definitely need history, okay? We need the real history, the history they're trying to take out of books and the history they've already taken out of books, but we need it for sure. It's just that in history, you can tell how everyone minded everyone else's business, or that's the picture that they have painted for us. How at least we know Americans definitely went and minded everyone else's business and then brought it back like it was their business, So there's that. And it's just, we've just been taught, it's like our culture to just be in everyone else's business. And hence my spin the block this week, you all in my business, It's just like, why are you worried about me? You must not be happy at home, or you must like, those people who come to work and they just like have to make everything about them, or they have to figure out you and try to figure out what you're doing and try to control your life. That's because they don't have control in other aspects of their life. So they feel like work is the only place they can do that, especially because they have seniority, So those people you have to watch out for. And that's the type of person you don't want to become. And that's the type of person that these things are creating. The TV shows, the music, the YouTube, the history, the news, social media in general, everything that we put our attention towards, it always will become a reflection of you if you do it enough, and you make it your personality. So we just haven't been taught enough to look inside and to figure out what our business entails without looking at someone else's business. And that even goes down to running your own business. If you have taken a business class before, you know that one of the biggest things to your business is figuring out what your competitor is doing. What are they doing wrong? What are they doing right? And figuring out their missing pieces so that you can possibly, have a one up on them and take some of their customers. You know what I'm saying? So it's always about what the next person is doing rather than what you can do and bring a value in light. And I understand being able to look at your competitor and get a better understanding so that you're not repeating things that have already been done and so that you can be innovative. You got to know what's out there in order to create something new. But you also don't need to focus on them in order to create something that's innovative, unique, and creatively yours, you know? So that's where we got the game messed up. And, America is built on business. That is our culture. It is business. We work a lot, we make a lot of money, and we all want to be business entrepreneurs because that is what we have been taught is success in the American culture. It comes with its pros and cons. You can be independent, but you can also fall into this loophole of trying to be the next and best thing rather than just listening to yourself and doing what feels right to you rather than what feels right to everybody else. And so it's very dangerous, to always be minding someone else's business. You miss so much important stuff in your life and what could be happening in your relationships or whatever. You're so focused on what's going on over there. You're trying to make it happen in your life rather than what could be new, fresh, different, original if you just focused on yourself, right? A word. So at what point are we taught to mind our business and go inward? What point does society tell us, hey, you should worry about yourself. It's time to worry about yourself. Okay. So I have a couple of things that I noticed that it really becomes prevalent to worry about yourself, or that's the message that has come to us for when you should worry about yourself. So when you're depressed, when you're anxious, when you're going through triggers and traumas and chaos in your life, when everything just starts to fall apart in your life, or when you have a health crisis, that is the only time you're taught to focus on your life, focus on your business, focus on who you are and what's best for you, you know? It's only when things go bad. People were like, go to therapy, check on your mental health, do all this stuff. Da, 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 da. When in reality, if we were worried about our business in the first place, we would have already been in therapy, whether if we were happy or sad or neither. We would already be considering our mental health because we weren't so worried about keeping up with the Joneses or doing what everyone else is doing. And you have a health crisis because stress is probably taking over your life, trying to keep up and trying to be in everyone else's business, that you realize that I haven't been taking care of myself. And now I'm super stressed and now I can barely do the things I need to do because stress has taken over and caused all these health problems in my life. And that's one thing that people overlook, that stress is one of the number one causes of many diseases and many disorders or whatever, many health issues that you have. They come from being stressed. I don't want to say disorders, but just different health problems that you have definitely come from being stressed. So that automatically leads me into thinking about how can we be more proactive versus reactive? How can we prevent these things, or at least have the tools ready for these things rather than reacting when they happen to us? Instead of going to therapy when we've gone through a traumatic experience, how about we go to therapy before all that? You know what I'm saying? When we're just having a good life in general, or when we're just mediocre, or when nothing is happening but we just need someone to talk to, just to work on your mental health. Just like you work on your physical health to keep it up and running, you have to work on your mental health to keep that up and running and to keep yourself in good situations. So that is a way to be more proactive than reactive, is going to therapy before the problem even hits, or when you feel a problem arising, go ahead and start making those steps to even working on self-evaluation, therapy, whatever your mode or method is. Take steps towards that and don't wait on chaos and everything in your life to fall apart. Start going to the doctor prior to a health crisis, you know what I'm saying? So that you can start seeing the early signs of what might be happening in your life, so you can pinpoint it in other ways as well. Because I'm just a firm believer that most things that happen to you in the health way is because of other factors in your life as well. Okay. And that can be any factor, not just emotional. Okay. But they can definitely fester in different ways. So yeah, like I said, therapy, being more proactive than reactive, just introduce it as a self-care a health requirement. I need to go to therapy. I have to go to therapy. And therapy is not cheap. There is some affordable therapy out there, but it still might not be something that's in your budget. So, if that is not, then what can you do to provide more emotional health and self care in your life? What can you do to make that a more proactive thing than a reactive thing? I can give you one. You can listen to this podcast and do some of the shadow working prompts, and you can help yourself with emotional health and taking care of yourself better. You can listen to all type of self-help things. You can meditate, you can work out, you can communicate your feelings. You can do all types of things to kind of get you to a more self-care routine and emotional healthy level. Another way I feel like we can be proactive versus reactive is starting with the youth. Okay. The kids are always the future. Okay. And I feel like if you start introducing communication to your kids and honest communication and letting them know that they have a space to say how they feel when they feel it, it promotes for more honest conversation and more connectivity and trust between you and your kids, because they feel like they can come to you and talk to you and you won't be upset with them because of how they feel. And you giving them those tools to learn how to communicate in a loving but honest way will help for better practices in the future. So when they get older, they're not being so reactive towards situations and they're able to stop, think, reflect, and communicate like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. I don't really want to be bothered right now, or I'm feeling this way. Can you help me feel a different way? Or can you help me understand this perspective? I might have an issue with you. Whatever the case is, you're teaching them how to communicate, and that can trickle down in so many different ways. It can help you in your relationship with them. It can help their relationships outside of the house. It can help them with their schoolwork because they're able to communicate to their teachers, hey, I'm not understanding this, and things like that. It can help them just form different relationships in different settings and be more confident in expressing how they feel so that they can learn from those lessons and be able to be honest, open, and comfortable with people that they feel like they can trust. So, being proactive and teaching your kids young instead of being reactive when they start acting out and then trying to course correct will be so much more beneficial and will be a smoother ride for everybody, honestly, involved. So, this next one is about loving yourself and being okay being alone. Okay. Being proactive in this area really is about loving yourself so much that if you were alone for a year, you might miss human interaction. You probably will miss human interaction, okay? No doubt about it. You're going to miss it. But at the end of the day, you're solid within yourself to be like, I'm good. I have me, and at least I have me, and I love myself. So that's why I love being with me. Now, I can say a lot of people don't love themselves, and that's for them to work out and figure out how to get to that space. But when they find themselves not loving themselves, they feel like they can't be alone. And the ones who do feel like they can be alone sometimes want to shy away from any interaction at all. So sometimes it could go extremes, and it doesn't need to be extremes, but there are some people who say that they can be alone, but they still rely on others to make them feel good and make them feel happy. And that can be on social media. Like, you can be a person who's by yourself all the time, but you get on social media to get those likes, and you're hoping people comment on your picture or whatever the case is. You hope people interact with you. So at this point, you're hoping and relying on other people to make you happy and to make you feel seen, heard, felt, and make you feel as if you're loved, when really you can make yourself feel that. And not to say that everyone who's alone, who posts a picture or whatever, is looking for that attention. It's just some people are like that, and they just want to have this cape on saying like, no, like, I saved myself, I love myself, I can be by myself, I don't need no one else to show me that I'm loved. But in reality, they can't be alone. They can be alone, but they can't live without the attention. Let's say that goes from like having to have sex all the time with different people. You know what I'm saying? People might feel that, hey, I'm being sexually fluid. Da, 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 da. That's true. You can do that and still be comfortable by yourself, but in some way, shape, or form, you are still looking for someone to fill your cup in that way. You know what I'm saying? You're still looking for someone to help you feel something, and rather than you feeling it yourself and you doing it yourself. And that goes for people who feel like they always have to have a crew around them. Of course, those aren't the people who feel like they can be alone or are always alone, but the people who always have to have an entourage or just always have to be hanging out with somebody. Like they might spend half of their day at home, but some part of their day they're spending it with somebody. If you are getting off of work and then having to go have a drink with somebody, rather than just going to have a drink by yourself, or you have to stay on the dating apps to continuously talk to people and keep everybody all in your business and you all in everyone else's business, then it's hard for you to just be alone. You can't not have interaction with people. And it's not that you should ever have a time where you're not interacting with people, because you need human connection, but you should still be solid within yourself to the point where you don't need anyone else to make you feel happy and feel good. So my proactive tip is to find things that make you happy when you're alone and pour into those things more, so that the absence of anybody, whether it's a friend, family, lover, a fling, whatever, when those people are gone, you don't feel empty. You don't feel a loss of anything. And you feel like you're still happy. You're good. You're good by yourself. So good that you might not even want anybody around. You know what I'm saying? So that's just something to think about. It's something that a lot of us can't wrap our minds around, or we don't want to accept, I guess you could say. But it's food for thought for sure. Another proactive tip I have is to do things that get you in front of people. Yes, I was just talking about being alone, but also go and do things that get you in front of people. So if you do enjoy your job, I would recommend asking one of your coworkers to go out for a drink or something like that, connect with them on a different level, or do an activity at your job or something that you wouldn't normally do, or just go out and connect with people so that we can learn how to connect with one another, because society definitely teaches us how to not have face-to-face connections anymore. It's all about online. It's all about superficial, artificial things, and we're losing the authentic bonds that we form when we're in front of people and when we're connecting with our community. So that's another tip I have that can help you stay in your business, is by connecting with others, even though it's kind of like the opposite. Yes, you shouldn't mind everyone else's business, but you should want to connect and get out in front of people and learn from other people and experience different experiences, so that you can take those skills and experiences that you're learning from other people and put it towards your business. It's one thing to learn from people, but it's another thing to copy and try to do what someone else is doing. And that's what I feel like minding someone else's business is trying to live their life, or just so worried about what's happening next in their life that you have forgotten about yours, or you're just mediocre or okay with how your life is going and at a standstill. And you're also able to see a different perspective when you get out in front of people. You're able to mind your business more when you realize that other people are minding their business. When you find a community and you go out in public and you find new people and you realize they're talking about things that they have going on, I hope that it can inspire you, because yes, we see that on social media, but the inspiration is lacking. It's more like just stealing and just doing what they're doing. So I'm hoping that getting out in front of people and seeing them in their element, or talking to them about the things that they're doing, will help people who are stuck in minding someone else's business to see that everyone's just trying to figure their life out as well. So you might as well hop on the train of figuring your life out, so that everyone can just flourish together and not worry about each other's lives, but use each other as needed. Like you can use this person for your business, they can use you for their business, but we're not minding each other's business. And the last tip that I have is to truly just worry about yourself. Eat right, worry about different foods that you're eating, worry about different workouts you could do, worry about different hobbies, different skills you could gain, new relationships you want to do, just taking care of yourself. Self-care is the biggest proactive tip that I have, okay? Without self-care, you got self-neglect, okay? And we don't want that. Self-neglect to me equals minding someone else's business, because if you're not worried about you, then who are you worried about? It's somebody. It's somebody that you look up to, or somebody that you feel like needs more of your energy than you need of your energy. And so that's what you're giving to them. And I want you to realize that self-care is the only way that you're going to be able to be anything that you want and be able to mind the business that's going to get you further. So, some results that you'll get from being proactive rather than reactive to the things in your life is number one, you're definitely going to have more healthy relationships with yourself and with others. You're going to be able to deal with healthy boundaries. You're going to be able to have healthy conversations and just have healthy connections because you're worrying about yourself and you're making sure you're good before anybody else is good. And that's all that anyone is trying to ask of anybody who is in the health field right now or the wellness field. It's just like, worry about you, because if you're not good, it don't matter what else is going on. Okay. And so when you worry about you, you definitely have those connections that come in that also show you that loving you is the right thing to do, because you're going to invite people in that love themselves as well. And they might show you how to love yourself more, and vice versa. You might show them something too. Aside from that, you also get the benefit of balanced emotions and in your daily life. So being able to take care of yourself, you're always able to see what your emotional health meter is. You know where you're at on the scale, and you're not so tangled up in someone else's stuff and taking in their emotions because you're so tangled up in it. You're worrying about you. So once you start focusing in on your hobbies and getting out in front of people and connecting with people, you realize that, hey, like, I understand how I'm feeling now. My daily life is going good. I'm worrying about me. Do I feel good today? Yes. Do I feel good today? No. And I can move accordingly to that plan. But as long as I'm checking in with me, everything else will go smooth sailing eventually. If it's not today, it'll be someday. Now, if we're talking about actual business, like if you want to run an actual business, you'll be able to do that because you're minding your business, and you'll be able to provide opportunities to people who are trying to get to the level you're at, or just people who are just trying to take different steps in their life and need your opportunity to get there. So that's one thing I pride myself on, is like, I know all of this experience that I'm going through with these jobs and stuff like that is really going to make me a really good business owner, because I'm going to really be an owner that's about the employees. Being able to look at someone else's business and take information from it is probably the best free training, paid training that you could get, for your own business. And so in this case, yes, mind someone else's business to get to where you need to be, but don't let it become who you are, and allow it to teach you what you can do that's different in this world. Providing opportunities is definitely going to be something that is going to make you feel good and make other people feel good as well, as long as you stay true to who you are and the business that you want to bring into the world. So that's more on the business, an actual business type. So aside from, minding the business that is for you, if you're trying to elevate and grow, just remember to invite things in, make space to invite things in, and don't be so rigid on what you already know or what you see other people doing. Make space for new things to come and change your mind, and to change your shift in perspective and your focus onto something that's actually going to help you and the business that you need to be minding. Okay. So that is it for this week's topic. I hope that these little inklings and tricklets that I dropped today definitely help you to just stay in your business and not worry about anyone else's business. Yes, you can get inspired. Yes, you can get some ideas, which is inspiration, but you do not need to copy, and you do not need to be so focused on their stuff that their business becomes your business, and you start shaping your whole life to look like whoever's life you're looking at. It should never be that way. You should always want to build something that is unique and original to you, and mind your own business always, because I'm gonna definitely mind my business. I might be nosy and want to know what's going on in people's lives, but for the most part, I'm worried about myself, like all the time. But without further ado, we're going to take all of this knowledge we just learned, marry it with our experience, and create some wisdom in the lab. Let's go. Okay, you guys, we have a lot of questions. A lot of questions, because I just feel like there needs to be multiple questions in order to really get to the roots of this topic today. So, of course, I have my notebook. I'm going to be reading. Number one is, how do I currently feel about my life and my emotions? Okay. So are they scattered? Are they lingering? Are you actively working through your issues and getting to work on things that you actually want? So how do you currently feel about your life and your emotions? How is it? Just evaluate that. Number two, what things in my life are currently focused on things outside of myself? So, what things in your life, like I said, are currently focused on things outside of yourself? So, what little aspects in your life, what do you bring into your life that has nothing to do with you, but you've made it about you and made it fit into your life? That's something that you got to be real honest with yourself about. We can do something as small as like your hair. If you've been copying someone's hairstyle, or if you've been just trying to get something that someone else has when it comes to the hair community, why? Like, what is it? Why are you so focused on getting that thing instead of doing something, taking some of those principles and seeing how it will work for you? Let's say a car. Let's say you're trying to get a specific car because you saw somebody else with it. That's not really the best example because, I mean, a car, you see somebody with it and you're just like, oh, I like that. So that's a little different. But let's say the activities that you're doing on a daily basis, you've seen someone do, or you've been influenced by people around you to do that, but it's not really who you are. And it's focusing on things outside of you rather than something that you really, really want to do. So evaluate that and just see what things in your life are currently focused outward rather than inward, unless if you thought of it yourself and it's something that you're doing because you're inspired by it and something that you feel a calling to do that. But if you're merely going to school because your parents want you to do that, that's something that's focused outside of yourself. If you're in a career because you just feel like you have to have this career to keep your wife happy, your husband happy, or whoever happy, okay, because of the amount of money that's coming in, that's something that's focused outside of yourself. That's something that you don't necessarily want, but you want your family to feel comfortable. So I understand the dilemma here, but you need to understand that if you're not happy, you won't have happy connections and relationships, and that's including your family that you're raising. So hopefully that question makes sense, and I gave good examples for that one. Number 3 is, what do I want to introduce into my life? Okay, what do I want to introduce into my life? Number 4, what does it look like day to day to slowly introduce things for myself? Okay, not things outside of myself, not things that are dictating me because somebody else needs it or I want what someone else has, whatever the case is. What are some things that I want to bring in that's strictly that I want? It has nothing to do with nobody else. It's just something that I know that I want. How can I bring that into my day-to-day life to slowly introduce things for yourself? How can you do that? Okay, Number 5. Number 5, how do I currently introduce balance in my life so that I am able to worry about myself and my business? Okay, how do I currently introduce balance in my life so that I am able to worry about myself and my business? Okay, now I know people who have families and stuff, it's kind of like, well, I have to worry about them. Okay, like I can't just not worry about them. But in the same breath, it's like, yes, you have to worry about them, but you have to worry about yourself. So how can you bring things into the daily schedule that you do to take care of everyone else to start taking care of yourself? Okay. Same thing with work. If work is taking too much of your time, how can you introduce more balance? So the part 2 to this is, if you don't currently introduce balance, what are some things you can change and eliminate to introduce balance in your life? So I kind of like put the 2 questions together already, but but the first part of the question is, how do you currently introduce balance in your life to mind your business and worry about yourself? And if you don't, what are some things you can change and eliminate to introduce balance in your life? What are some responsibilities you can give to someone else? What are, some roles that your family can play so that you can worry about yourself as much as they worry about themselves? What are some things that you can change? And what that can even go down to like not watching as much TV so that you can worry and sit with yourself and figure out what you really want to do and not be so influenced by whatever society is telling you should do. So these are some deep questions. You really have to sit and you're really going to have to think and feel. You're not going to be able to just give a little 1-2 step. Okay. And not that you guys ever give a 1-2 step, but I know that sometimes some of these questions can be easy to just be like 1 or 2 sentences. But these questions this week are definitely given a paragraph, maybe 2, maybe a page. You know what I'm saying? Because you're really gonna have to dig deep and see what is influencing you and what's holding you back from really feeling how you want to feel and really introducing those things in your life that are really going to make you feel like you're minding your business and you're not all up in everyone else's life and you're not worried about everyone else's life over your life. Like you're prioritizing you. So sit with it, think on it, be honest. And I'm excited to see how far you guys have gotten on this. I actually have talked to some of you guys, and you guys are just giving me life about how these shadow working prompts have made you think deeply, and they have continued to open up even more questions for you. So when you start to sit down and actually answer them, you lead into another question I didn't even give you. And I just love that. Okay. I absolutely love that I'm giving you guys thought-provoking questions for you to sit and really dig deep, really go through the different chains and the different steps in order to get to that place that makes you feel like, okay, this is the answer. And this is how this is truly making me feel. This is what I want to change. This is how I'm going to proceed. This is how I will deal with this in the future. Blase, blase. So that makes me so happy. And I'm so glad that you guys are taking heed to this segment. Okay. And yeah, so without further ado, we're going to get into my favorite part of the show, which is a moment. All right, you guys. So if you are new here, a moment is the segment of the show where we do a 5-minute meditation. I got you for the first minute, and the next 4 minutes is all you. Whatever you want to do, eliminate distractions always. Go on a walk, take a shower, take a car drive, go sit in your closet. Whatever you got to do, honey, do it. Okay. And yeah, so we use the ear method, which is something I came up with. It is basically a breathing technique where you inhale and embrace the thoughts that are in your mind. You hold and accept those thoughts that are in your mind, and you exhale and release all the thoughts that are on your mind. Okay. I almost butchered that, but we brought it back home. So yes, before we get started, I just want to remind you guys always to breathe from your diaphragm, not from your lungs, so you can get a big old deep breath. So we're going to go ahead and clear the energy and take a big old inhale and exhale. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get started. All right, go ahead and inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. Inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. Inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. Inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. Inhale and embrace, hold and accept, exhale and release. The next 4 minutes are all for you. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, you guys, to your consciousness. That's just a tagline at this point after the meditations, okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed that 5-minute meditation and that you find some clarity in your 5-minute break from life, okay? But without further ado, that has been this week's episode. It has been a pleasure talking with you guys, chilling with you guys, healing with you guys, and feeling with you guys. Okay. It's been great. And before I let you guys go, I want to remind you that you can find me on IG, TikTok, Facebook at the.w.podcast. I stream everywhere unless I don't, and then you can let me know. And you can also watch this podcast on YouTube to see my face, okay, and see my reactions and all the little things I'll be doing over here. So if you are a visual person, I got you. Okay. Remember, you can always leave me a comment on YouTube or IG or Facebook, wherever you be at. You can leave me a comment for a word for the fam or just to say hello. Okay. Because I love to talk to you guys. So it has been a pleasure. I hope you guys have a fulfilling week and you do something that makes you feel extremely loved this week because you deserve, boo. You deserve. And just know that I will love you guys forever. It has been a pleasure working with you guys in the shop today. I will see you guys in the next session. Bye, y'all.